The stock market is crashing because of Trump's tariff threats, and I just bought the dip. Why? Because I know something most investors don't. These 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada are a complete bluff. The media is screaming recession, inflation, economic damage, but they're missing what's actually happening. Let me show you the facts. The S&P 500 is down 7% in 2 weeks. NASDAQ is down 10% from its highs. Everyone's panicking about Trump's threats to impose 25% tariffs on all Mexican and Canadian imports. But on March 7th, it was confirmed what I suspected all along. This is just a negotiating tactic. Here's the proof. These tariffs were supposed to begin February 4th. Trump postponed them for 1 month. Then they went into effect March 4th. 1 day later, he gave automakers a 1-month extension. Why? Because those tariffs would spike pickup truck prices by $10,000. And who buys pickup trucks? Republicans. The next day, he extended the deadline for USMCA imports, covering 50% of Mexican imports and 38% of Canadian imports. That's not a tariff policy. That's a bluff. In today's video, I'll show you why these tariffs are a negotiating tactic, why I'm buying this dip, and how to position yourself for the great melt-up that's still in full effect. This whole tariff situation reminds me of threats from the government shutdown. Republicans and Democrats threaten shutdowns every year. Sometimes they even go through it for a few days, but it's always a bluff. It's the same playbook here. Look at what actually happened. Trump threatened 25% tariffs on everything, then immediately started making exceptions. He reduced tariffs on potash to 10%. Energy and electricity, also 10%. When you add it all up, about 80% of Mexican and Canadian imports received either a postponement or reduction. This is classic Trump negotiation. Threaten something extreme, create panic, then walk it back and declare victory. If Trump actually implemented these tariffs fully, it would devastate the U.S. economy. Retaliatory tariffs would trigger job losses. Inflation would spike. The Federal Reserve couldn't cut interest rates, and the stock market would crash. Trump knows this. He judges his success by the stock market. A reporter literally asked him if market reactions influenced his tariff decisions. Trump claimed he wasn't even looking at the market, a flat-out lie. Of course he's watching. His entire strategy depends on using threats without actually destroying the economy he takes credit for. A couple of days ago, I bought the S&P 500 through an ETF because I know this tariff panic is temporary. The great melt-up is still happening, and this dip is a gift. Let me show you the data that gave me confidence. The Federal Reserve pivoted on September 18, 2024, when the S&P 500 was just under 5,700. I just bought it almost exactly the same level. History shows what happens after Fed pivots. Median returns of 16% after 1 year, 41% after 3 years, and 97% after 5 years. Even more important, in the 5 years after a Fed pivot, the stock market is always up, not sometimes. Always. This isn't guesswork. It's data. And here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Trump isn't going to reduce the national debt. He's going to add trillions to it. He's not going to stop inflation. The currency will be devalued, and we're going to have financial asset inflation. This isn't about politics. I'm not saying Kamala Harris would have done better. We're past the point of return. The great melt-up is happening regardless of who's in office. Here are the 3 critical things you need to know. First, the stock market will go up in the long run. That's not an opinion. It's a historical fact. Short term, it could drop another 10%. That's why I didn't go all in. If it drops more, I'll buy more. I'm holding for the long run. Second, stocks aren't the only protection against a melt-up. I own physical real estate and small businesses. This isn't about being right. It's about making money. Third, Trump judges success by the stock market. If tariffs hurt the market too much, he'll back down. When asked if market reactions influence his tariff decisions, he denied it, but we all know that's a lie. Fourth, And this is speculation. Some people think Trump is intentionally crashing the market so the wealthy can buy assets cheap. This is disaster capitalism. Here's the bottom line. This tariff situation is driving down the market temporarily. I'm using it as a buying opportunity, and you should too. The great melt-up is still happening. The stock market will keep rising not because the economy is great, but because the dollar is being devalued. Financial asset inflation is coming, and you need to be positioned now. See this dip as an opportunity, not a threat. Remember, when everyone else panics, that's when wealth transfers happen. Don't be on the wrong side of that transfer. Subscribe for more straight talk on what's really happening in the markets. I'm Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.